So last class we just discussed about single inheritance and with a constructor, one constructor, parameterized constructor. So now I'm going to show you multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance means what? So you should have one more child class. That child class should extend to this manager. So that I'm going to take a programmer class. Okay, programmer class. Let's create a programmer. So programmer. Take the main method. So programmer extends. Programmer extends manager. So this is the why it is throwing error here is, so the manager class has a constructor. You have to call that constructor in the child class. So remember this point. Parent class. Now the manager is a parent class. How can you call parent class constructor here? So again, you don't need to write the logic, just a structure only you have, definition only you should have, but declaration, just constructor declaration. So how can you add? So there is a super keyword you are going to use. This keyword will refer the current class objects. Super keyword will call the parent class objects, parent class constructor, parent class instance variables, parent class instance methods. It is going to refer. So which is going to refer? Super keyword. So you want to call a variable of parent class, super dot parent class variable. You want to call parent class constructor. So constructor inside you will write a super keyword. If it is a parameterized, you will put a super, so parenthesis, parameter name. If it is a default, you will just write super parenthesis. Like this, how we call in the same class. So that's the same way how you are going to call the parent class constructor. So just mouse over here and add that. Add constructor, programmer int. See, this is the one. See, super of bonus. Again, you don't need to write a logic. That's the advantage. So you are calling parent class constructor in the child class. So which keyword you need to use? Super. Then write the programmer related methods. I'll just take here programmer related quick methods. These are the two methods I'm going to take. Then see, one static method, one non-static method I created. Now constructor, how we call observers. That's the main thing you need to understand this. So same class, how can you call one constructor in another constructor? Same class. That is this keyword you have to use. Parent class constructor, how you can call child class? Super keyword. And inside you have to write a super keyword. Super keyword will refer the parent class objects. This keyword will refer the current class. So that's the main difference between this and super. Remaining same. Super, you can access the parent class instance variable. For example, child class and parent class has the same instance variable. And you want to refer that one here, and you will use super dot parent class instance variable. So always it is going to refer parent class reference variable, instance variable. If programmer class means you have to write this dot programmer class instance variable. If you want to call parent class constructor, you will use a super keyword. If you want to call child class constructor, you will use this keyword. So if you want to call parent class non-static method, you will use super dot non-static method. If you want to call current class as non-static method in another non-static method, you will use this keyword. That is the main differences you have to understand. That's very, very important. So now you call all, see, now this programmer can access manager class methods, employee class methods also, that multi-level inheritance. So just call the static methods first. So first I'll call programmer class static method, okay? Child one. What is the programmer class static method? Design. Then call manager class static method. So what is the manager class static method? You see that. What is that?
Manage team.
Call that. So directly you can call. That's what I told you. Then employee class static methods. See how many levels this programmer is able to access. Manager level it is accessing. Employee level also it is accessing. Even though if you haven't declared and these methods in this programmer class. Okay. This is the employee class static methods I have called. So that's the how to call static members of other classes in the inheritance process. See, all are executed, right? So now non-static methods. So how can you call non-static methods? So what you need to do?
Create
Create
object
an
reference
object
For
for
what?
the child
for
class.
child class.
Programmer class.
What is the child class? Programmer.
Programmer.
So create object for programmer class. See why it is throwing error. You can see there.
You have to pass the
Parameter.
parameter.
You have to pass the
Argument.
parameter value, argument you pass. So I'm giving 50,000 bonus. That's it. See, when you're calling a parameterized constructor, make sure you pass the value. Okay. Okay, so next you call one by one. So p dot fix bugs. So p dot the other methods, whatever you have attended meetings. This is coming from manager class, right? Programmer class.
Programmer
Programmer
class.
class.
This one is coming from manager class.
Manager.
And you can call p dot set empid. P dot set emp name. So you can give any name. So p dot set emp. Okay, so any other setter methods? Setter methods are done, right? Now you can call the getter methods. So program p dot get
Get
emp.
employee.
So you can add more, so instance variable if you want more data, if you want about the employee. It depends on what data you want. Okay. get emp id. See, multi-levels it is accessing. Programmer. But you want to disclose this salary, all this. But so that employer, you can send it all your details if you want, right? So that you can send it to that employer. So for that reason, all these things you will do that. Get emp cell.
Okay.
Get bonus. Okay, company, right? So
Yeah.
you want get company name. That's it. Bonus also you want to add it. Get bonus. Okay. So that's the how you can execute this run as Java application. See that all the data you're getting. What are the data we set? We are getting with the getter methods. You set it here and you're getting here. So that's the procedure. Even I'm showing you constructor also. So these are all important words. Constructor you will use widely. Okay, make sure you understand the constructor part, parameterized constructor especially. So we check the class structure. So it has a parameterized constructor or not. Okay, so that's it. And hierarchical also, let me show you one more. So you can take a tester class. Tester extends to employee, right? So now employee extends to manager already, right? And also you're going to extends employee. So all the employee class methods, this tester class can use it. A tester is also an employee, right? So he is also employee. You can also use all the employee class methods. Okay. So that is the main concept here. And now you declare some methods for the tester, what methods you want. So tester responsibilities, you know, right? The tester responsibilities you can add. So maybe you can add the tester responsibilities. So what he is going to do all this. So you have, again, starting methods you can call all the starting methods. Set company name. And I can call this. And send notification. Then you can call, so this design test cases. These are all tasks of a tester, right? So that you can write it here. So all the methods, variables of tester class, employee class, you can call directly here. And if you want, so non-static methods, you create object. You create object. So T dot set emp id. So the emp id is I can give 100. So T dot set emp name, and you can give any name. Okay, just giving random names. T dot set emp cell, and you can take so some value, any value. Any other setters? All are done. So now you can call get getters. So getters. Oh, oops. So tester ID t dot get emp ID. So tester name t dot get emp name. Tester salary t dot get what else? Only so
company name and bonus.
company bonus you won't get. Why?
Oh, we didn't call the constructor.
Bonus
Okay.
is not in the employee class.
Yeah. Sure.
Anything common you can call here.
Yeah.
So tester.
Company name.
So you can put get company. Okay, so this is the hierarchical inheritance, means same parent class extends to tester and manager also. So that's all about this. We got everything. And another thing I want to show you, last one, right? What is the last one? Multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance is not supported by Java. In case of class. In case of class, it won't support. But there is another case it will support. That is the interface case, it will support. But in case of
Class,
it won't. Okay. And so let's see this. So I'll create a few classes. Okay, A, B, C, 3 classes. Class A. So just take public void M1 method. So this out A class M1. Same way, I'll create one more M2 method also. So A class M2 method. Next, class B. So same, I think I can comment out this, copy this, just change the class name. Just B. So that we can go here and we can just change it here. B class. So now A class is there and B class, same method names are there, but the logic is going to be different. Now, so now you extend this A and B to C class. Class C. Take the main method. Now see if you write extends A comma B, that itself won't support.
Right.
Because in the design itself, it's not supported at all. Okay, that's the main reason. Design itself is not going to support it. 2 classes you cannot extend. So anywhere you can see one class extends to another class. That's a simple formula. Okay, so that's all about inheritance. Any questions?
Also.
No, sir.
Okay. So let's go and see the next topic, polymorphism. So what is polymorphism? Next to OOPS concept, polymorphism. Okay. So what is polymorphism? So poly means many. Morphism is a change in the Greek terminology. So when one task is performed in different ways, that is called polymorphism. Like just you are speaking with different people, how you will behave. The speaking is common here, but the behavior, how you will perform that speaking is, it's entirely different based on the situation. So you're going to talk, you're going to speak with the friends, very jovial, right? You are going to speak the enemies very rudely. So you're going to speak to the manager politely. You're going to speak your parents differently. So it's all, you know, speaking the way you are going to perform. So the one task only you're doing, but different ways you will do that. So that is the polymorphism. So it changes based on the situation, how you're going to perform. So polymorphisms are two types: compile time polymorphism, runtime polymorphism. So compile time polymorphism is when you overload the static methods, that time compile time polymorphism will takes place. Runtime polymorphism, so I'll tell you that in detail, we have to discuss that. And how can you achieve this polymorphism? So types of polymorphisms are different. Types of polymorphisms are compile time polymorphism, runtime. But when it comes to how you can achieve the polymorphism, there are two ways. One is method overloading, method overriding. So understand the terminologies. We have seen constructor overloading. Now what is this? This is the method
Overloading.
So similar, so definition also will come here. Their constructor, here it's a method. So, and let's go and see one by one, what is this method overloading and method overriding. Method overloading means if a class has multiple methods by the same name, okay? So a class inside you have multiple methods with the same name, all the methods with the same name, but different parameters. So this is what we discussed in the constructor overloading, right? Same you here also definition. That is called method overloading. So why you have to do method overloading? Same task you are performing. There is no need of giving a different method name. If you give a different method name, how many you can remember? So task is same you are doing. And so for each method you are giving a different name means how many will remember? That's not going to give more readability. So in order to overcome that, so we are using this method overloading. Give the same name for the task, whatever you are doing, and then change the parameters only, method to method. So then, so that is going to make more readability and easy to call the methods also. So that's what I am telling here. So if you have to perform only one operation, having the same name of the methods increases the readability of the program, increases the readability of the program. So that is this method overloading. So see that the payment option on any e-commerce website has several options. Like that payment is a main thing, payment method. So like net banking you can do, then credit card you can use, and debit card you can use, wallets you can use. That means a payment method is overloaded here several times to perform a single payment function in various ways. This is the best example you can give. You all know this, right? So any online website, if you take, you are paying something, means you can pay different ways. Method is same, payment, but you can pay with the credit card, you can pay with the debit card, you can pay with the net banking, you can pay with the wallets, or you can pay with the phone pay or Google Pay or whatever the different options you have. So only payment is the function, and the parenthesis inside the parameters is going to vary. So that's the one example for method overloading, real-time example. Okay, like that you can assume them. So what are the advantages of method overloading? So method overloading increases the readability of the program. So easy to remember, payment method. What are the different ways to overload the method? How you can overload the method? There are two reasons. One is by changing the number of arguments. By changing the number of arguments. By changing the data type of the parameter. By changing the data type of the
Data type parameter.
So by changing the number of arguments and by changing the data type of the parameter. So you can use that. So these two ways you can achieve method overloading. And method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method. So if the return type, if you change, then it's not possible. Return type, if you change, it's not possible. Why, when you change a return type, method overloading not possible? Yes, method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method because there may occur ambiguity. So ambiguity means confusion. Confusion arises. So that is the reason they are not supporting method overloading with return type change.
Type change.
So can you overload the main method? Yes, you can overload the main method. And so main execution one, what is the main execution one? Main method? What is the structure of
Public static void means
Public static void main strings are
string args? That's a
the main.
method. But now you can overload with the different arguments. Now you can overload with the different arguments. So that is what you can do that. Okay. So that's the one, this one. Next, let's so we'll write this program, then you can understand better. Then we can go for a method overriding. Okay, method overriding, we can see that. Let's go and write the programs, simple programs. Create a method for loading. So take the main method. So in the main method, I'll just create a multiple. So I want to perform sum of different numbers. Okay. So how can we perform? So I'll just take this public static int sum. So int a. At least I need inputs, right? To do a sum means minimum 2 numbers I need to do a sum, right? Otherwise I cannot do a sum, right? So a plus b. Next method overloading means what I need to do?
Add one more. parameter or do
So first criteria, what is the first criteria? Method name must be,
must
Method
be
same.
same.
and parameters you can change.
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 So that's the main concept of this method overload.
Method overloading.
So this method name is same. Only parameters here 2 and here 3. Arguments are increasing. That's a method overloading means. So the same method name must be there, but parameters should vary method to method. Now I'll try to show you method overloading not possible or by changing the parameter data type. Float, and I can change it to double. But you have to change the here parameters also. So this is the second point. What is the second point? Here I covered by changing the data type of the parameter. This point I'm covering here. See, here also 2 parameters. Here also 2 parameters. But what is changing?
Data type.
Of the
Type,
parameter.
type of the parameter.
This parameter data type I changed it. Here, this parameter data type is integer. Here, B data type is a float.
Float.
So that is the this concept. And also next let's see how can we see this point also I covered. So did you feel this point I covered or not?
Yes.
This is the one. So by changing the number of arguments, here 2, here 3. Same name. Here also method name is same, but only data type of the parameter is changed. So one more I want to cover this point. Method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method. So this I'm going to cover now. So what is that? Take the same method, but no. So this return type we will change. Okay, I'm changing return type. So is it allowing?
No.
Revert.
Duplicate method.
Duplicate method. So it doesn't consider what return type you change, but the parameters are same, it won't accept. It's not possible at all. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
So let's go and so comment out these things. Okay, this we don't need. Control shift to forward slash. Okay. Now next one is main method. So you can overload the main method. How to overload the main method? So I'm going to take, you should not give same parameters, right? You have to give different one. I have given different one. See, now there is no error here. Okay, so there is no error. So main method is overloaded with string parameter.
So the execution will start from the standard main method and
Yeah, exactly. You're
and
right.
it will, and then the execution will like, okay, you will call the main this
You have to call these methods here. Execution one is always this one only.
standard method. Okay.
Mm. Okay, so you write whatever you want. Okay, so whatever you want, you can do that. Just maybe I can are equal to So some logic I'm writing. Same, see, you can overload this with different arguments. See that? Only method name is same here, here, here. But what is changing?
Parameters are changing.
Parameters are changing. That's the main thing you have to catch it here. That's a method overloading, very simple, and you can give many examples also in the Selenium. So many examples are there. You can give those examples. You want to perform click operation. So wherever mouse is there, you can directly call the click method without parameters. So there is another click method on the web element. So that also you want to right click on the mouse location. You want to right click on the particular element. These are all method overloading examples. So there are so many methods you can find in Java and Selenium. So, but you just need to understand these concepts. If you understand, you can easily answer them. Okay. And main method is overloaded with integer parameter. So a equal to a multiplied by 5. So that's a logic, different logic you write, that's it. Okay. So a value is plus C. That's it. Let's call the methods one by one. So sum method first, sum method, but sum is a return type method, right? A return type method, how can you call?
Data type of the
Variable.
variable name equal to.
So first return type of the method. Okay. So what return type method you want to call?
Int.
So return type of the method, so what data it is returning? So int, and so
Variable
result
name.
equal to
Equal to
some,
return type method name.
and you can give this. So now which method you will call this?
The
Print.
first one.
This method body. So now this is the one more concept is coming here. So please catch this. Binding, one concept is there. Binding is what is meant by binding? Method call will be connected with a method body. That is called binding. The connection between method call to method body.
Body.
That is called this
Bind.
binding. So that is called binding. Okay. So this is how you can understand the binding also. There is a static binding and also dynamic binding. Static binding is nothing but a early binding. Early binding is will happen with when you overload the static methods are there in your class. That is a early binding. That is early binding. So if non-static methods are there, so you are overriding, that is a dynamic binding. So let's print this value directly. Sum of int A, int B, output is plus result. See that? That's it. It is going to go to this block only. So based on the method type you are calling, that will call. Sum of next. Sum of int A
Float.
float B is. So that's it. Just based on the now, this method is, so the binding happened between this one method call and method body. Where is that method body? This one. This is called binding. The connection between method call to method
Method body.
definition, method body, that is called binding.
Binding.
If there is a static methods, you are overloading, that is a early binding or static binding. So dynamic binding means when you create object for that, that is the dynamic binding. Okay, so that's all about method overloading. Let's call this main methods also. Simply you can call main method is a void method. So whatever you give, so it will. See now so the binding happened for this method is here. For this method is here, the binding. So it is going to connect with this body. So this method. So that's the binding means. Okay, so and also method overloading. All we covered here. Any questions? So see the code is perfectly executed. Let's move on to the next one, method overriding. So what is method overriding? So method overriding in Java is if the subclass or child class, right, has the same method as declared in the parent class. It is known as a method overriding. So it is called method overriding. So in other words, if the subclass provides the specific implementation of the method that has been provided by one of its sub-parent classes is known as a method overriding. So that is the method overriding means. That means parent class and child class has the same method, but the logic in the child class is going to be different. So how you can achieve method overriding is you can mainly use this method overriding if you want to do a specific implementation of the parent class method in the child class. You don't want to disturb a parent class method. You want to write a specific logic. So then you can use this method overriding concept. So let's suppose login you can do different ways, right? So you have a parent class login, that is, and you want to do different ways like you with mobile or with so Google login with Google. So that different ways you can do login. That overriding you can do in your child class. So without disturbing the parent class login method. That is called method overriding. You're overriding the same method. So you're overriding the same method. So with the different logic in the child class. So what are the rules you have to follow? Method must have the same name as in the parent class. Whatever is there in the parent class, same method name you have to include in the child class also. Method must have same parameter as in the parent class. Method must have same parameter as in the parent class. Child class implementation should be different than parent class method. And you must apply the inheritance between two classes. So this is the mandatory if you want to achieve method overriding. I already told in the inheritance. I'm again proving here. So method overriding is if you want to achieve inheritance between the two classes should happen. See, method overloading will happen in the single class. Method overriding happens between the two classes. Between two classes it happens. So then what is runtime polymorphism? We have seen compile time polymorphism is if you overload any static methods, that's a compile time polymorphism. Then what is runtime polymorphism or dynamic method dispatch? So you have a parent class, one non-static method, child class has a non-static method. So this process the call is going for which method is resolved at runtime based on your object. For which class you are creating object. Based on that, the call will go to that method. So that's a dynamic process. That is called dynamic method dispatch or runtime polymorphism. So it is a process in which a call to an overridden method is resolved at a runtime. That is called a dynamic method dispatch or runtime polymorphism. So in this process, an overridden method is called through the reference variable of a superclass. So always overridden method is called through the reference variable of superclass. That means reference variable data type, I already told in the beginning of OOPS concept. Reference variable can be same class type or superclass type. So now here is the superclass you're going to use to call the overridden methods. So this is also called upcasting. So when the reference variable of parent class refers to the object of child class, that is known as a upcasting. So this is the one, parent class reference variable equal to new child class. So previously we used to create object with the same class type, right? Now we can use parent class also. Parent class, that reference variable equal to new child class. Always this reference variable will call the child class method that is declared. This method is overridden method that you can call with this reference variable. So that is this upcasting process or runtime polymorphism. We call this line. So any parent type, that reference variable equal to you are creating object for that class, child class, that is called runtime polymorphism or upcasting, we call this. So can we override static methods? No, we cannot override the static methods. So why we cannot override the static methods? First, you won't create object for the static methods, right?
Yeah.
So only you'll create object for the non-static methods. That's why you cannot achieve the overriding with the static methods. So why we cannot override the static methods? So because static method is bound with a class, whereas instance method is bound with the object. And static belongs to class area memory. Instance belongs to heap area. Heap area means only runtime objects. So runtime objects means by creating object only for the class you can get stored here in the heap area. So class area means once a class is loaded, it will go and store. That's all static related. Class area memory. So here it will store. So once a class is loaded, it will go and store. That's the reason why you cannot override the static methods. Can we override the Java main method?
No, it's a static method.
Because it's a static, you cannot
Static
override.
method.
So can you override the private method?
No.
So because it's a private means methods are not accessible in another class. So you cannot override private methods. How can you stop overriding the methods? So by making the private static final, that methods, if you make private, static, and final, you cannot override those methods. So these are all interview questions. Please go through that. Suppose example is there is a method get interest rate, which returns the interest rate of a bank. So RBI is the superclass. It returns a 7 for a get interest rate. So there are various banks like SBI, Axis, CSI, okay, which extends to RBI class, but override the get interest rate with their own interest rate. So it varies from bank to bank, this interest rate. So how can you get that? So their particular bank related rate of interest. So you create object RBI. So rate of interest equal to new SBI. So now SBI rate of interest, you will get it. If you create object for Axis Bank, so new Axis Bank, so then you will get a rate of interest of 8. So like that, based on the which class you are creating object, that class method logic you will get for this method, even though you have this method in the parent class. So that is called method overriding. You can give these examples. So what is the difference between method overloading and method overriding? So method overloading is used to increase the readability of the program. Method overriding is used to provide the specific implementation of the method that is already provided by its superclass. So method overloading is performed within the class. Same class only method overloading performed. So method overriding occurs in two classes that have easy relationship. In case of method overloading, parameter must be different. In case of method overriding, parameter must be same. So method overloading is the example of compile time polymorphism. Method overriding is an example of runtime polymorphism. Method overloading can't be performed by changing the return type of the method. So return type if you change, so method overloading not possible. So return type must be same or covariant in method overriding. That means, so here you cannot change. What you can change in the method overriding? Only logic in the body that you can change. So parent class logic you cannot change. You are not going to touch that. You are implementing your own logic in the child class. That is the main concept of this. Any questions? Okay. So that's all about polymorphism. So I'll show you this program to next. So when we meet on Tuesday, so then we can be good. Then we can jump on to the few keywords are there. That keywords also I'll show you there. Okay. So please read this and so